I think quality of life could be improved with just a better mindset than blaming the workspace. A better mindset doesn't give you more hours in a day, though, man. It's not so much the mindset, it's the lack of time to live is the point she's making with the structure of her commute plus the work day. It's definitely not a mindset thing, man. A good mindset, a positive attitude and a smile doesn't put more hours on that clock. And next thing I wanted to talk about was this video. I'm sure a lot of you saw this today, but just in case, here, I'll play it for you. I'm curious what everyone's opinion is on this subject, because I thought Twitter had some trash takes on it.
I know I'm probably just being so dramatic and annoying, but this is my first job, like my first 9-to-5 job after college, and I'm in person, and I'm commuting in the city, and it takes me fucking forever to get there. There's no way I'm gonna be able to afford living in the city right now, so that's off the table. Like, fucking duh! If I was able to walk to work, and it'd be fine, but I'm not. So it literally takes me, like, I leave here, like, I get on the train at 7:30, and I don't get home till, like, 6:15 earliest, and then, like, I don't have time to do anything. I want to shower, eat my dinner, and go to sleep.
Bed. Yeah. So, I won't play the rest. That's fundamentally the whole thing. She gets her first 9-to-5, and she realizes that working that 9-to-5 grind leaves you with so little time to actually enjoy life, and it is, of course, very upsetting for her. So this account here is apparently like a really wealthy guy who's punching down on her, talking about like, oh, it's so heartbreaking, you have to have a job, ugh, that kind of thing. And Twitter dogpiled her. But at least a lot of people on Twitter dogpiled her, just clowning on her, talking about like how entitled she is about this and that. And I just thought that was so fucking dumb. I don't know if I'm taking crazy pills or what. I think everything she says here is totally reasonable. The standard 9-to-5, especially when you're not walkable to your job, you're commuting, let's just be very easy to work with, an hour there and back total. So an hour commuting to work for your 9-to-5, you get home at 7, like she says. That leaves you with like almost no time to do anything besides shower, eat, and you're exhausted from work. So like, what the fuck else are you gonna do? You can't really live the life you want to live. And for some reason, everyone thought that she was like some entitled harlot or something for this take, instead of recognizing that the problem really is like, no, a 9-to-5 grind is not conducive to good mental health. Especially not when you have to factor in a commute. If you can walk to it and you can actually get home by 5, okay, maybe there's an argument to be made there, or working from home where you're done at 5, okay, yeah, that makes a lot more sense. But as a commuter to your job, it's unbelievably miserable. It has to be. And everyone dogpiled her for some reason. Of course, I'm being exaggeratory. It wasn't everybody, but so many people, and I just don't understand why. It's like, she's right. She is spitting facts. Like, she is just right. You can't raise a family. She mentions that she can't actually form a relationship because she doesn't have time. She can't meet people. She can't do the normal human experience because everything is work, work, work until weekend, basically. Like, she is correct. It sucks. And I think it's just kind of like this thing where I suffered, so everyone has to suffer the same way, as opposed to trying to find a better solution that isn't like the 9-to-5 grind. Because I really think we're at a point in our species where we really don't need the 9-to-5 anymore. I think we have shown that you can do work from home and different hours that are more conducive to a happier life for your employees, as opposed to making sure everyone sinks down to what everyone else experienced that was awful. Because I think so many people, like post-college, have had this terrible experience 9-to-5. And now everyone thinks that that's the rite of passage everyone has to go through. And I just disagree. I don't think it needs to be that way. It's the same mentality in RuneScape, not to tie it into some nerdy shit, but in old school RuneScape, there's always this fear of power creep when it comes to skilling. So basically, when something new comes out, it has to be obsolete for XP because everyone already suffered to get 99 through awful methods. So no one should be able to have an easier path or a more fun path. It needs to be miserable because we were miserable. And I always hate that perspective. I really do. I think she is 100% right. I really think she's on the money. I was just curious where chat lands on it. And no worries at all, Alpha. Thanks, Trey. It's the boomer mentality, she's right. It's not, though. It's not just like the older people. It's anyone else who has also gone through it or currently going through it that thinks, I'm miserable, this is just the way it has to be, so deal with it, don't be so entitled. But it just doesn't have to be that way. It just doesn't have to be this fucking grind, leaving you with no time to live. It doesn't. Like, it really doesn't. We are so far beyond that stage. And no, I haven't seen the new single, Serene. I think we covered that one, Dragon, a long time ago, with the grandma suing her grandson. And yeah, it would definitely affect the blood flow, Joshua, I'm sure, but it's fucking synthol. Silly to cry about it on the internet. It's just venting. I mean, the internet's like a diary for everybody now. I don't think she was making this as some kind of like call to arms or anything. She just made this because she was feeling emotional, posted it. And then Jason here found it and shined a light on it as a lightning rod for everyone to attack her. Like, I don't think she was trying to make some kind of big statement on it. She's like, hey, this sucks. Like, we've all vented. And now, with the way the society is, venting is public as opposed to private. I just don't think she did anything weird or excessive. It's just simply venting, and I think the point she's making is right. That I disagree, Antonio. I'm glad that you like what you do, but working from 6 to 5 and she's just complaining. I don't know. I disagree. I'm glad that your job is good and you find time to make meaningful connections. I don't know how. I'm guessing you work from home, which is what I was talking about, where that is more healthy and conducive for your mental state. I don't know. But even still, she's not wrong. Thanks, Mojo. Work 9 to 5 Monday to Friday, IT to university, love job, get paid $75K a year. America sucks on how they treat the workers. Well, yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Hey, have a good night, Colin. Yeah, I agree with that backpack. I'm sorry to hear that. The work trade 6 to 6, she's dead on. And I just don't think it just doesn't need to be that way. It really doesn't. Like, what was the study that came out, like, at the beginning of the pandemic, everyone used to spout about productivity and how it decreases the more time you spend in the office? The number was like 5 or 6 hours or something. After 5 or 6 hours, you stop being productive and all the work you do past that point is fucking meaningless anyway. It was something like that. I don't know. It's been years now since I saw that. But I mean, it's still like, it's stupid that it is still currently in this state. For sure is. I just don't think there's a real argument in support of it. Unless, of course, you're like a corporation. Then the argument for it is it's cheaper. Because then you can get more with less workers as opposed to hiring other workers to pick up a later shift or something. So unless everyone in here is like a CEO, then I just don't understand where the argument is in favor of this 9 to 5 misery on the workers. Yeah, we were talking about that a little bit ago. Wages aren't going up either. Yeah, you're working longer, working more for less, which that fucking sucks. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I've seen that. That's fucking brutal. No, I've never heard of Voices of the Void. Worked a refinery job, 14 hours, 7 days. Was always so mad at everyone. I mean, that's the natural human response. It's fucking torturous. Agreed, Riley. And thanks for the resub, PJ. And Syriax. Hey, Syriax. Good to see you. I know, that's what I was talking about, like the normalization of it, basically. It's trash. I really think it's trash. All the office jobs would have like double the workforce and would cost a lot to make up for the time. Yeah, like I said, I don't think that's necessarily the case. During the pandemic, the work from home model seemed pretty effective. Every company didn't instantaneously collapse. In fact, I think most of the bigger corporations somehow made more during the pandemic while everyone was working from home in less hours. So I'm sure there's a way to figure that out. And if you do have to hire more of a workforce, that's good for you, the normal person, the worker. It's bad for the corporation, but who gives a fuck about corpo? Like, I don't know why anyone would make arguments in favor of corpo. You getting more opportunities is better. Like, it should be so easy to wrap your head around that. Don't say corpo. I love that word though. I actually think corpo is such a fire word. I think it's such a good word. Cyberpunk crushed it with that one. Have you ever looked into how bad work-life balance is for the WWE wrestlers? Only off of a couple documentaries I watched. That's brutal, yeah. And that's what matters at the end of the day, Josh. Just the happiness of it. God, that's awful, Skyline. A friend of mine, his girlfriend, I actually just learned this. It ties into this loosely. His girlfriend has an hour and a half commute every day and her job starts at 7, I think. She's a PA at a hospital, I think. I can't quite remember. I think it's a PA at a hospital. So she has an hour and a half commute every single day from 7 to 5. And then has an hour and a half commute back. And she does that, I think, 5 days a week. Like, I just don't know how you live like that. I feel so fucking bad for her. I just learned that the other day. Like, I kind of shit, like, hearing it breaks my heart. It's brutal. Thanks for that whiskey. It's extremely normal. God, it's awful to hear, man. 3 hours a day in the car. Fucking, 10, 11 hours a day at work. And then you're going home, immediately eating and going to bed after a shower. Like, there's nothing else you can really do. Ooh, fuck, that's awful, Sam. I'm unfamiliar with that channel, Brandon. I'll have to check them out, though. Well, that's good to hear then, Arrow. Oh, wait. Okay, so a little bit of good, a little bit of bad then. Thanks for that, though, Arrow. And thanks for the Prime Icky. And the resub Leon. Thanks, Crossbolt. Have you seen the new Fish Tank episodes? No, I haven't tuned in recently or anything. I haven't seen any of the shit going on Twitter or any of that. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, Nate. And I don't think I can check that one out on stream, Tom. That sounds a little much. Thanks to the resub Huel and the Prime Juice. I think quality of life could be improved with just a better mindset than blaming the workspace. A better mindset doesn't give you more hours in a day, though, man. It's not so much the mindset, it's the lack of time to live is the point she's making with the structure of her commute plus the work day. It's definitely not a mindset thing, man. A good mindset, a positive attitude and a smile doesn't put more hours on that clock. Have you tried smiling more? Yeah. Hey, congrats on the marriage gold. Oh, wow. Jesus Christ. Thank you for that, kid. Thanks for the fucking fat drop. Hope you had a good day. Hey, for sure, Goblin. Absolutely. That'd be cool. Yeah, I plan on putting more in there. I just haven't yet. I think we should take a page out of Mappa's playbook and work 24 hours a day and sleep in the office. I love Mappa's work. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of Mappa. I hate the way they do things. Like, internally, I hate it. I mean, I understand that's like most of the anime industry entirely. We've talked about this a lot, so I won't just yap about it for the millionth fucking time. It's just so sad. Overworking talent to the point of exhaustion and, like, I won't say death because I don't know if people are dropping over dead in the Mappa offices. But overworking their force the way they do is so tragic. Yeah, that's fair, Rex, but you shouldn't be doing that much every single day is the point. Like, I'm sure you'd be a lot happier if it wasn't that long. Is the whole crux of it. Not so much like the actual job itself. Thanks to the membership, Wanus. Jesus Christ, Crossbolt, that is brutal. Thanks to the membership, Toms. I'm Sorry to hear that, Mary. Yeah, that is scary. I'm wishing you luck with it, though. And yeah, I know, Joimsy. It's awful. All the moaning and not a single solution to the problem. I can give you the easiest solution. Don't require 9 to 5 from the workers. Like, you don't need that long. Or, if you do, have it be work from home optional. What this would require, though, is if you don't have them doing 9 to 5s, you'd then need to hire another worker to pick up that last part of the shift, which I think is good. I think that's a net win for the workforce, not so much the company, but the company's got plenty of money to spare. That's my layman solution in my tiny little brain. It seems super simple to me. Thanks to Tier 1 Abby. That seems very simple in my head. Yep, pay more, less work, basically. Yeah. Instead of profits over everything. That would be my solution. And I think you get far more productivity out of it as well. I really think you would. Happier worker, better work. You get more bang for your buck on that salary anyway. At least that'd be my assumption on how it'd work out. And I know, that's what I was talking about, Glibby. We've talked about the anime industry so many fucking times. It's so sad how it pans out over there. But will they actually do that? Man, fuck no, of course not. We're just, hey, we're shooting the shit here. We're solving the world's problems internally. Obviously, it's not actually going to happen. In an ideal world, sure. But we're just yapping, that's all. It's something I found very interesting with the way people responded to this when I think she's 100% in the right. I'm happy to hear that, Stoned. Well, that's good news then. I didn't ever do any wieldy gambling in RuneScape. I was never a big PKer. Sorry to say. And I know Dunedin. Which sucks. Your solution is taking nothing into account, so it's trash. The only thing I'm not taking into account is the fucking profits of the company. But I mean, if you're hiring 9 to 5 workers, I'm sure your company can afford a little bit more. I used to love Alien Hominid. Sorry, I'm not like focused entirely on the company's profits. Sorry to tell you. I'd care more about the workers because you're going to get a lot more out of it if they're happy. True, Chris. Yeah, it wouldn't be for everything. Obviously. Thoughts on the John Jones injury? Is that why he's not fighting? He got injured? I thought he just dropped out. What's his injury? And not too much, Grizzly. Nothing we haven't already talked about. We just went through that gym CEO with the camera in the women's bathroom. I hope you're enjoying them, yes. Is that true? I've heard that before. Humans used to work 6 hours per day, but then during capitalism went from 50% to 70% of the year. A channel called Historia Civilis has a great video on it. I've heard that referenced on Twitter. I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't seen the video. I can check it out later. There's a resub card. Question, why work somewhere when you need to travel 60 minutes a day to get to work? Not a ton of options, man. It's hard to find a job. You hear it all the time about people who have like these really coveted degrees and just can't find a fucking job. So if you find one, I think most people are just going to put up with the commute, like my buddy's girlfriend.